Hi, I'm JP from GameLuster. Towards the later half of 2022 came a little game called Multiversus. Multiversus is a Super Smash Bros. Type fighting game that uses famous Warner Bros. Franchises such as Looney Tunes, DC Comics, and that one with the talking dog and meddling kids. Off the bat, Multiversus opened to a great start, having over 153,000 players on Steam. But in February, the player count dropped below 1,000 for the first time, and on March 27th, Player First Games announced the game would be shutting down by June 25th, looking for a return in early 2024. I personally was a big fan of the game, and even I have to admit that I didn't even make it halfway through the Season 2 Battle Pass. When a game opens up to such a big hit, you have to kind of wonder what happened. I mean, some people are saying it's been meh the whole time, but I think the core mechanics are solid. Sure, the game may feel very flighty, but Multiversus seems to embrace that. It knows you're going to be juggled in the air constantly, and gives you better moves while you're in the air usually. So today I'm going to chat about all the things I think went wrong with Multiversus that led to the shutting down. I want to see if we can help Player First Games improve this experience. And I think that needs a discussion more detailed than, the game is boring and the characters are bad. Please add this character and then it will be good. So, my first point is that the game is bad and the characters are boring. Please add Alf and then it'll be good.
Subscribe to us now.
In all honesty, I think the biggest problem was the choice to go early access. With early access, you're essentially releasing a game and saying it's unfinished, but you have the intent to keep adding to it. I'm sure Player First Games needed to start making a profit, as this is currently the first and only game from that studio. So I think this decision was probably a necessity. But this game is extremely bare bones. Free for all, 1v1, 2v2, and 2 versus AI are the 4 game types that Multiversus started out with. It also started with just 5 maps and 16 characters. That may sound like the core to a fighting game, but in reality, unless you're a fighting game fanatic, that's gonna get really monotonous after like a week of playing. It should be mentioned that all the maps feel very similar to me. They're all like 2, maybe even 3 levels. Sometimes there's an interesting mechanic, like in Scooby Doo's Haunted Mansion, you can hit levers and pieces of the floor will break away. All these maps are centered towards competitive play. They're symmetrical and small to allow an equal playing ground that emphasizes the skill of the players. A lot like Final Destination and Super Smash Bros. But the problem here is who, aside from the competitive community, wants to play Super Smash Bros. On Final Destination every time. I know one guy who does that, and he's not fun. He is in fact stinky, and he never lets any of his friends win, Darian! Player First Games was actually quite quick in trying to fix this lack of content by announcing that they were going to release a new character every 2 weeks. However, when I look at the list of content that Multiversus already had, the characters was not the one that needed to grow. And while this may sound exciting, I'm going to contribute the character every 2 weeks to another thing that led to Multiversus' failure. Why? Because it was handled so poorly. The only thing that I think of when I hear that quote is going down to my local movie theater, going to the concession stand, and ordering a box of Bunch of Crunch. I don't think there's any feasible way this mandate was held without some sort of stress being put upon the Player First crew. And it seems that I'm right, because most of the time, these characters did not come out every 2 weeks. You'd be ready for the next fighter to come out, and then 2 days beforehand, the co-founder of Player First, Tony Hune, would tweet something along the lines of, "Ooh, Gizmo isn't ready to come out of this box yet. We're going to need another half of a week before he's officially ready." On top of that, they were so focused on making these characters that there was never really ads for them. Sure, if you go onto their YouTube channel, you'll see that there's about a minute-long gameplay trailer for each character, but those usually came out the day the character released or a few days after. What I'm trying to say is there was no real hype before any character dropped, and most of the friends in my circles had no idea whenever any of these characters were out. But now they've put themselves in a corner, because if you really think about it, the character mandate was the only thing keeping a lot of players attached to Multiversus. It created an expectation, and when that expectation wasn't met, people got mad. It should have been apparent that this method was not going to be sustainable, but I do think player-first games eventually caught on to that notion. The last big mistake Multiversus made was honestly the Battle Pass. I don't like Battle Passes in general, but I do understand the need for them to keep players on as long as possible, especially with a game like this that's free to play. However, most companies do Battle Passes wrong, mainly because they're too dang greedy. They want your money, and they will do stupid things to get it. And I don't want to call Multiversus predatory, but it did just turn invisible and is actively hunting Arnold Schwarzenegger. That joke would be funnier if Predator was a Warner Brothers franchise, but it's not. I'm going to stick with the joke anyway. The main problem of the Multiverse Battle Pass is there's no Gleamium. You see, Gleamium is one of two in-game currencies in Multiversus, the other one being gold. Gold is the less important currency. It's mainly collected just through playing the game, and it's only really used to unlock characters for play. Gleamium, however, is only acquired through your wallet. To make the most well-known analogy, it's like Fortnite V-Bucks. It's mainly used for all the character skins and cosmetics, and it's also used to get the premium battle pass. Many games have these sort of currency systems in them now, but few do it as well as, well, Fortnite. You see, when you buy a Fortnite battle pass, one of the things that you get rewarded with throughout that battle pass is more V-Bucks. You essentially get enough V-Bucks to buy 1.5 more battle passes. This rewards the player for putting in the time to play the game, and allowing them to keep unlocking premium stuff without sucking their wallets dry. Multiversus does not do this, so every battle pass needs to be unlocked out of your pocket. And while a company may think this will make them more money, players are gonna start to feel scammed, and they'll begin foregoing the battle pass unless they know that they've already gotten near the end of it. Like I said before, I hardly got through Season 2, and they've given us like 3 extra months to finish it. Do I think Multiversus is dead? No. A lot of people currently seem to be of that sentiment, but I believe Player First Games decided to perform something similar to the No Man's Sky approach. As I said before, I think they knew Multiversus was deteriorating and that fans were getting mad. I think this radio silence and following shutdown is them just putting all their focus onto figuring out how to make this game workable and livable. And I'm pretty sure in 2024 we'll be hearing a lot of good news when it comes to Multiversus. I personally hope that Multiversus succeeds, because I'm just a big fan of these IP collective games. You know, like Super Smash Bros. And PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Maybe I'll talk about that someday.